Welcome back to the Relaxing Ghost channel here on YouTube. Today we had the Royal Rumble 2009 review. This is going to be one of those Royal Rumble reviews. I'm going to try and do a few more here before WrestleMania. You know, like I've said, the Royal Rumble is probably one of my favorite pay-per-views to go back and just binge watch them all. So 2009 edition of Royal Rumble came from Detroit, Michigan at the Joe Louis Arena. 16,685 were in attendance. And this was one of those Rumbles that I didn't really know who was going to win at the time. I didn't really look into dirt sheets and rumors and all them websites at the time, so I was kind of really looking forward to this event and seeing who would go on to WrestleMania. The undercard is not the best. It's fairly decent though. We had Jack Swagger versus Matt Hardy for the ECW Championship. A decent match back and forth before Swagger retaining the title. And this is the Giant Silver ECW Championship run. You know, this isn't my favorite of the ECW days, so, you know, I feel like they really put Mark Henry, Christian, Matt Hardy, guys like that to really boost up ECW. I don't really think it worked, but I think that was their intentions. You know, we see Matt Hardy kind of frustrated after the match, and, you know, that would play a big part into what we would see later on in the night. Next up was for the women's title, Melina challenging Beth Phoenix. Again, not really the best match. This era isn't known for the greatest women's matches. This only goes about 5 minutes, and we see Melina capturing the women's title, I believe, for the second or third time. And she would have a fairly decent run with the title. I believe she held it throughout the spring and into the summer of that year. So it's hard to really rate matches like those. And then we had our three big main events. First up, the World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. John Cena, I believe, held the title from, Survivor Series on into the next few months. John Cena versus JBL with Shawn Michaels. You know, John Cena with the world title just looks so weird now, but this JBL Shawn Michaels storyline was not good. Shawn Michaels had gone broke. He made bad decisions with his money, and he turned to JBL to kind of help him out. So we see John versus John, and JBL's telling Shawn Michaels, you know, you better do the right thing and make sure I bring home that World Heavyweight title. So Bradshaw's kind of getting the best of Cena here. And at one point, Cena's going. Shawn Michaels steps in the ring. Cena turns around, and Bradshaw gets the sweet chin music. And then Cena gets a sweet chin music for his troubles. So I like how they played off that, you know, Shawn Michaels isn't going to be aligned with anyone here. And he kind of knocks them both out. Cena does end up retaining the title after, you know, I think an FU or AA, whatever they were calling it here. Or the STFU. So, not a bad match. You know, they were really playing up on the Cena was kind of, you know, the man in the middle of a storyline here with Bradshaw and Shawn. So, Next up, the WWE title match. Edge Edge challenging Jeff Hardy in a no disqualification match. This was a very fun match. You know, Edge and Jeff Hardy are two of my favorites. And, you know, seeing them from, you know, way back in the Attitude Era till this point here in 2009, it's really incredible to see Jeff Hardy as the WWE champion and to see that these two guys are still feuding. So these guys are going at it back and forth, back and forth. We got tables, we got ladders, there's chairs. Jeff Hardy, he's getting the best of Edge here. And out comes Matt Hardy. You know, we seen him frustrated early on in the night. He didn't win the ECW title. So Jeff Hardy's going to give him a concerto. And Matt's like, no, let me do it. Matt Hardy goes, winds that chair up, and he cracks Jeff Hardy clean in the head, costing his brother the WWE Championship. Edge is your new WWE Champion. An emotional moment, and this was very well done here. You know, it really sucked to see the Hardy Boys break up at this point in time. The cat's sneezing right now. You know, I believe the Hardy Boys as a team had run its course. But, you know, it's always fun seeing them tagging up, even these days. But Matt Hardy has left WWE now. So, you know, I do think they cut Jeff's run a bit short. You know, he only held the title a month. But this wasn't the end of Jeff Hardy in the main event scene. The main event was the 30-man Royal Rumble match to determine who would go on to main event WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary, so they said. So number 1 and number 2 is Rey Mysterio coming out at number 1, former Royal Rumble winner back in 2006. And number 2 from ECW, John Morrison, who might have been part of the tag champs at the time with The Miz. Overall, this is a very fun Royal Rumble match. You know, it's one of those slow build Rumble matches. At one point in time, I believe there was 12 or 13 guys in the ring at the same time. That may be the most in the ring at the same time in a Rumble match. Excuse me. So we had guys like Taker, Kane. We had the Big Show coming out at number 30. I feel like this Rumble was a bit lopsided in terms of branding. We had 15 from Raw, 10 SmackDown, and 4 guys from ECW. I think the highlight of this Rumble was RVD making his return at number 25. This was in Detroit, home of RVD pretty much. You know, he's not far from Detroit. And what a fucking epic pop. Just time stood still for that moment. I don't think we'd seen RVD in a few years. You know, he'd been off and on WWE, but this was a very slow build to a Rumble. You had, like I said, 12 or 13 guys in there at one point in time, which I like to see. I don't like seeing, you know, one guy in, one guy out. I like different variants of the Rumble, and it's really cool seeing the ring fill up, you know, and not just one guy coming in and eliminating everyone. Triple H and Orton did go at it for several minutes here. Randy Orton comes in at number 8. And, you know, it's Randy Orton and the Legacy kind of taking everyone out. And it comes down to Triple H and Legacy, you know, pretty much 3-on-1. Triple H does get DiBiase and Cody Rhodes out. But Randy Orton does get the win here. and he's going to WrestleMania. It it seems like they did kind of botch the pyro at the end there. So Randy Orton's just, pointing at the sign, looking at the sign, nothing's happening. And then he kind of rolls his eyes, he goes to the top of the post, and then a lot of pyro. Overall, I really enjoyed this Royal Rumble. Definitely go check it out, guys. As for a rating, I think 8.5 out of 10 is a good score. Maybe 8 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts, guys. What did you think of Matt turning on Jeff, Edge winning the WWE title, and Randy Orton winning the 2009 Royal Rumble? As always, we'll talk to you later. Peace.